Today on the TMZ Podcast.
It's your favorite time of the week for the TMZ Podcast, and you're here with Nikki, and I'm joined by Brendon.
Let's get into it.
He's my work bestie.
There's a lot going on today, boo.
So we have the moment we've all been waiting for. Sandoval reunion,
Part one.
Whoa, jinx. So give us the breakdown, a really quick breakdown, for those people who may not, have watched last night. Maybe if they video DVR'd it, recorded it to watch it today.
They, honestly, for me, it was a little slow, but I think that the producers know exactly what they're doing. They're going to save all the good stuff for week 2 and 3, obviously. It just kind of, it starts with them like getting ready and showing them in glam, and everyone's making their comments about this is going to be so intense and da-da. Because you have to remember with these reunions, they film them for 10 hours.
Really?
They're on set for about 10 hours when they film these reunions, whether it's Vanderpump Housewives. So they were on set for several hours.
Yeah.
And basically this time around, because you have to remember, so we have to set it up in the sense that Raquel had gotten that temporary restraining order against Scheana.
Got it. So she was not with the group.
Right. So when when Scheana was on the stage last night, Raquel had to be 100 yards away in a trailer because at the time that restraining order was in place. Obviously, it's been dropped now.
Right.
But when they were filming it, they had to be 100 yards away. So they could never physically be on the set together. So they had a production camera in the trailer with Raquel, and they were doing these cutaway shots to her while Scheana and the rest of the cast are on the stage, talking about it, getting into it. What I thought was interesting was you don't normally see people act in rage so early on in a reunion, whether it's a Vanderpump, a Housewives reunion. It's normally like episode 2 or 3 of the reunion that you see the rage start to come out. Starts off a little slow. Last night, it was intense.
Yeah.
The cast wasted no time coming for Tom Sandoval. Really, truly. He started to, Andy had asked him this question, and, he went to go start to explain, and you could tell he wasn't going to apologize, but he kind of was looking for almost like sympathy.
Right.
The waterworks started and like stopped him right away and was like, we're done, be real. Started, I can't.
James Kennedy went after him really bad too, huh?
Oh, he got up like 2 times, and like Andy and Lisa had to get up and like make sure, because remember we had reported there was gonna almost a physical fight.
Yeah.
So it was almost between.
And I mean,
Tom
there's a lot
James.
of baggage there though too, right? A lot of drama between the two because Raquel is James's ex-fiance, right?
Correct.
Oh Lord.
And you know what's interesting? I was talking to someone last night after the reunion, and I didn't think of it this way until they mentioned it to me, but James has so much rage in this first episode of the reunion towards Tom. And this person said to me, they kind of got more of a feeling that his rage towards Tom was because Tom is sleeping with his ex.
Yes.
And that maybe James isn't or wasn't over Raquel
100%.
at the time of this filming,
Yeah.
which I would have never thought of it like that. But I'm like, that's a good point, because it's just, the way James was coming at Tom was so crazy. Like you would have thought that he was the one that got cheated on. I get it. They're all going to be defensive of Ariana. Ariana was really great during it. Like none of them were obviously letting Tom get away with it. They let him speak, but then they'd cut away to the like Ariana making a side comment of like, okay, or F you, or, things like that. Again, it didn't have like the energy that I think we're going to see in 2 and then definitely in 3.
Right.
But it was there.
It's
and
TV.
They
know what they're
things.
doing.
They know exactly what they're doing. I was kind of shocked. Like there was this moment between where Ariana is talking about how, she's going to have a hard time moving forward with and being friendly with people that are still Team Tom or support Tom. And so Lisa, then kind of chimes in. And is like, well, I'm a business partner with him. They own Tom together in West Hollywood. And Lisa's been very neutral with this. Like the finale episode when he came over and had the breakdown at her house. And Ariana made a comment on Watch What Happens Live saying she thought that, Lisa was a little too nice to Tom, maybe.
Yeah.
And there was last night, Lisa kind of says, Lisa and Ariana kind of go back and forth, not in a bad, mean way, but, Ariana's like, well, I mean, if you're going to still support him and be his business partner, then I'm obviously going to, have
Yeah.
like I can't have you around me as close
Totally.
as we were. And that kind of throws Lisa off. And then they kind
Mhm.
of, talk about it a little bit.
I think there was a moment last night though too that like, like you said, everyone started to attack Tom Sandoval. Like they just did not give him any sort of like time to talk. Like even when he was going to go give that apology and started to cry, it was everyone. Like Ariana was like, cut the waterworks. Like, you know what you did, blah, 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 whatever. And, Lala called him a dangerous human. And I
Mhm.
will say, something that Tom does well is he deflects, right? So when he was giving that apology teary eyed, he was saying like, I want to thank you guys for, being there for Ariana, right? Didn't admit to his mistakes, didn't say nothing about any of that yet. And he was like, I want to thank you for being there for her. And she was like, don't thank them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just, I don't know. Tom Sandoval, I'm not up to date on the show as you are. I know because I work here and now I'm consumed and I watch the reality shows, or the reunions, but has he always been like this?
I think he's just having a really hard time saying like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I think from his standpoint, he also, much of his storyline and the interviews he's done since this all came out is very much, I think he thought that their relationship
Was
had run its course
so
long before the affair had happened, but everyone keeps reminding him, then why didn't you break up with her?
But also, there was a point last night as well where, Lisa Vanderpump actually pointed out that, Ariana kept saying multiple people, like he's hooked up with multiple people. He cheated on me with multiple people. And they're like, oh, so it wasn't just Raquel. So that's the kind of stuff that gets really, I think there's a lot of rage from the cast members because there's a lot of stuff we don't know and we don't know yet, or we may never know. But the amount of rage over a cheating scandal between a couple on that show is not new. Right.
And you have to remember, like, even Ariana said, like, when she was on that Call Her Daddy podcast the other night, like, she was like, there's stuff that I'm talking about on this podcast that I didn't even know when the reunion was filming. That now, there just keeps becoming a new revelation.
Popping up.
Timelines are changing. Certain people that claim they didn't know something now are admitting they had suspicions
Right.
sooner than they admitted they had suspicions. So we're never going to know.
No.
It's too big of a group of people where you're never going to know the full truth of who's, sharing exactly what they knew, when they knew it, and all of that.
So again, when they knew it, what they knew, you kind of are referring to like a timeline. Didn't the Toms get it messed up? Like they were not on the same page?
They did, and Lala called them out and, made a point to say, well, obviously, because a lot of them were like saying, well, it was, when you're dating someone like Raquel, right? They kept going back to the fact that, he has control of Raquel. Like, that's how they felt. Like, he could manipulate Raquel and say, this is the timeline we're going to tell people. Let's get on the same page.
Yeah.
So that we don't look stupid, that we don't, like, we're not
Right.
lying about stuff, if in the event that it was happening longer than people thought. But, like, he was not on the same page with Tom
No.
Schwartz last night because, their timelines were, like, 6 months apart.
Oh,
Okay,
Lord.
from when they had, like, talked
If you're
about
going to
it.
have your best friend cover for you, y'all got to be on the same page.
Yeah, no, it was not giving. I think part 2 next week will definitely be juicier. And then I think part 3 will be.
Part 3 is going to be the bombshell. And then they leave you hanging for however long they're going to do until they do another season.
They are supposed to start filming in towards the end of June, I've heard.
Oh, okay.
So I think we're going to, which I would assume they're going to like rush to edit.
Yes.
And get it back up.
I would hope
Everything's
so.
fresh now.
You got to capitalize on this right now.
Now is the moment. You have to remember, this is the show that literally people were talking about might have gotten canceled because the ratings just weren't giving anymore.
Oh, wow.
Before season 10 and all
And
of
now
this
look
happened.
at
And
explosive
here
bombshell.
we are. We haven't stopped talking about it for 2.5 months.
All right. Well, another reality show that is hot is Selling Sunset, and there's some drama happening on set of there as well.
Crazy.
So Nicole Young apparently is getting death threats and has been called a meth addict. And it comes after her co-star Chrishell accused her of being on drugs during the season.
Right. And they also had this blow up on set when they were filming. They were at this Broker's Open for this other cast member, Chelsea. And they kind of, Nicole takes her outside and they're talking about past drama. Basically, Nicole was like accusing Chrishell of claiming she had sold houses, but it was actually Nicole's listing. But Nicole hadn't been on the show at the time because Nicole's new this season.
I see.
So Nicole has worked for the Oppenheim Group for 8 years, but is only new to being on camera.
On camera.
So she's been introduced as a cast member, this season. So she kind of confronts Chrishell about that, and Chrishell's like, "Well, that was my listing, or I was half listed on it, or whatever." So that's like their drama. But yeah, now people close to Nicole have obviously told us that this is escalated, and she's getting these crazy DMs saying, you better be careful when you walk outside your house, like, you could die, or you're gonna die, or and we also know that people have been able to find her personal cell phone number and her address. So it's not safe. It's not safe. The fans have taken it to a next level.
I will say, fans of these shows and fans of celebrities in general, they are crazy. I mean, we talk about the Swifties all the time and how hard they go for their girl, but like these reality show stars now have a huge following because these shows have gotten so big.
Mhm.
And now these reality TV stars who back in the day were not as big as they are now, Chrishell and Nicole Young will become a bigger star, but Chrishell has been on that show for a few years now. And so she's now gotten to that level. She's been on Dancing with the Stars. She's that level of celebrity now where it's like you have this stuff to worry about, right? The stalkers coming to your house, finding your cell phone, finding your address. And then also they're so good now that they're finding the cell phones, the addresses and stuff of the people around you, your family.
Right.
Which it's scary.
And like this, like you said, she's so new to this, Nicole, that I think she's just like, we've been told that she was supposed to be on like a couple podcasts. She backed out from appearing on those. Like she's canceling like press interviews because this is so new to her, and I can't even imagine like processing that. Like you have people showing up outside your house, or people DMing you being like, you're a target. Like, can you imagine? Like you just want to go to the grocery store, and the whole time you're at the grocery store, you're thinking, is someone behind me? Is someone gonna come up to me and say something to me, confront me, do something to me?
It's scary.
Yeah.
It's really scary. And I do see that, in our notes here, just something that I think is important is that Nicole and Chrishell have been kind of feuding this entire season, like you were saying. And the final edits, right? We always talk about editing, and like we were just talking about with the Vanderpumps, they know what they're doing, right? The editors know what they're doing. So maybe we're not getting the whole side of Nicole's side. And so they always play a villain and a victim, right? They always have that in these reality shows.
Right. And I think also, someone like Chrishell, who's been on TV for a very long time, because she did, soap operas and stuff before this. And I think she had done another reality show before Selling Sunset. So she is in this now. She's deep in this, and she knows how, okay, the editors are going to choose the best parts, right? So she's giving them drama, but then she's giving them emotional stuff. And, she's probably balancing what she's giving them. Whereas Nicole is so new to it, she might be giving them only one version of herself and not, clapping back at Raquel as much as she should be. So the producers are like, yeah, thank you. Where they're like, we are going to cut Nicole and make her look like the bad guy.
Exactly.
Or, the target's on her back. So you have to wonder, maybe she wishes she had shot things differently.
Well, that's what I mean by like, the editing of these things, like what I was saying with Vanderpump, like you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We may never know because there's so much happening. They're filming with 10 plus people on both of these shows. Like you have money involved, not just with the money you're making from the show, but they're actual real estate agents. So like the selling of these homes, they're getting commission and things like that. Once money comes into play, then that's when people get crazy
and competitive.
Competitive as heck. So yeah, the amount of drama between both of these shows it's a lot, and it's only they keep going, right? Selling Sunset just got picked up too.
It's like got another season coming, season 7, and
Vanderpump's got another one coming from all this drama.
Boy, they keep us busy.
They really capitalize.
They do.
Really quickly, before we head out, we got to talk about our girl Britney Spears. Her mom, Lynn, was coming to her house, flew to LA on Wednesday to see Britney. Britney let her mom inside, I guess, to spend some time catching up. When Lynn arrived at LAX, she was taken to Kate Hudson's house, which is Britney Spears' manager. Then they took an Uber to Britney's house. We're unaware though if Britney knew her mom was in town to see her, if it was like a pop-up visit, if it was coordinated with her management team. We don't know those details. We just have the photos that show that she was there with her mom.
It's very interesting because this obviously comes on the heels of the fact that we just had that documentary air in which we said, we remind people that Britney has had a very strained relationship with her family for many years.
Yeah.
So maybe this could be the turning point. Maybe Lynn's going to be the mama that gets in there and goes,
Yeah.
life is short and let's all start communicating again and seeing each other. I don't
I
think it's
hope
ever going to be
so.
what it was, but
No. I mean,
um,
our sources say that they've been texting recently, and I guess Sam was also there. So I guess we'll see. It's not the only time we've seen Lynn in town to see her daughter, so I'm sure there'll be more. And yeah, wow. It was
always rooting for Britney.
always rooting for our girl. Well, it was great doing the podcast with you
Great
today.
chatting with you. It's always fun.
Stay tuned to TMZ.com and TMZ Podcast and the TMZ TV shows for all of our up-to-date content.